Public hospital nurses across Nigeria has launched a 7-day warning strike on July 30th, citing poor wages, hazardous working environment, and massive staff shortages as key grievances. The National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives accused the federal government of neglect and insincerity, particularly after the health minister failed to attend the final negotiation meeting. The strike has left outpatient departments empty and emergency wards struggling, further straining an already fragile healthcare system. Nigeria is facing a major brain drain with over 42,000 nurses having emigrated for better opportunities between 2019 and 2024. Many observers view this strike as both a cry for help and a political statement, especially considering that most public hospitals operate below minimum international standards. The nurses' action places renewed pressure on the President Bola Tinubu's administration to prioritize the health sector, especially as the country faces compounding social and economic unrest. The United States of America has suspended food aid to 1.3 million Nigerians due to funding shortfalls, pushing nearly 31 million citizens closer to starvation in Katsina State. The government confirmed 652 child deaths from malnutrition between January and June 2025 alone, an alarming 208% increase from the previous year. Aid groups like Medecines Sans Frontieres (MSF) say the figures represent a nationwide emergency worsened by inflation, security, and collapsing public infrastructure. While the federal government has pledged 200 billion naira to health and nutrition interventions, critics argue that the funds are either insufficient or misallocated. The crisis is also politically sensitive as it reflects years of neglect in agricultural and social safety policies, with Nigeria already facing public discontent over the economy. This humanitarian emergency could intensify anti-government sentiment ahead of the 2027 elections. Former President Muhammadu Buhari died on July 13, 2025 in London, ending a political career that spanned over 4 decades, while many paid tribute to him as a symbol of anti-corruption and discipline. Others criticized his presidency as a period of economic stagnation, security failures, and authoritarian tendencies. Buhari's decision to spend long periods abroad for medical care also drew sharp criticism from Nigerians who could not access quality healthcare at home. His death has sparked fierce debate about how history will remember him, whether as a patriotic reformer or a distant, ineffective leader. Politicians from both sides of the aisle have used the moment to draw attention to Nigeria's current woes, comparing his tenure with President Tinubu's administration. The contrasting narratives surrounding Buhari's legacy are also influencing regional politics, especially in the north where he retained massive influence. Opposition leaders Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi officially unveiled the African Democratic Congress (ADC) as a unifying political platform to challenge the APC in the forthcoming 2027 elections. Announced on July 2nd, the alliance is being framed as a third-first revival reminiscent of the 2015 coalition that ousted former President Goodluck Jonathan. Their shared vision centers on anti-corruption, economic stability, and electoral reform, with strong appeal to youth and civil society. The Tinubu administration has downplayed the coalition, calling it an alliance of political desperados. However, observers note the emergence of credible defectors from within APC ranks, giving the opposition real political weight. The ADC's momentum is drawing attention from international observers and may become the most formidable electoral threat the ruling party has faced since 2015. Former Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Babachir Lawal, has stirred controversy this week when he alleged that several sitting APC governors are secretly aligning with the new ADC coalition. According to Lawal, these governors are disillusioned with Tinubu's style of leadership but are afraid of open defection due to political retribution. He claimed that the ADC represents a true ideological shift rather than mere opposition rhetoric. Though APC leaders have dismissed Lawal's comments as attention-seeking, his statement reflects growing discontent within the ruling party as political analysts see it. Internal fractures in APC could weaken Tinubu's grip ahead of 2027. If true, this behind-the-scene alignment could reshape Nigeria's political map, especially if they materialize into open defections before the primaries. The Social Democratic Party (SDP) this week has expelled Nasiru El-Rufai, the former governor of Kaduna State, for falsely claiming to represent the party within the ADC coalition. In a dramatic press conference, SDP leaders accused El-Rufai of political impersonation and declared him banned from participating in any party activity for 30 years. They stressed that the SDP is not in any coalition and will maintain its political independence. This expulsion comes amid broader debates about the credibility and transparency of new coalitions. El-Rufai, who had left APC under cloudy circumstances, is now politically homeless, raising questions about his next move. Some speculated that the backlash was orchestrated to discredit the ADC's broad tent, while others see it as a genuine effort to preserve party identity in a volatile political climate. The former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi has publicly criticized President Bola Tinubu for allegedly using manipulated data to cover up Nigeria's worsening economy. Obi noted that Tinubu's administration, which once mocked his reliance on statistics during the 2023 campaign, now relies heavily on questionable economic figures to justify unpopular policies such as fuel subsidy removal and new taxation. Obi accused the presidency of being disconnected from everyday Nigerians, citing rising food prices, unemployment, and Nigeria depreciation as evidence of failure. His remarks have gone viral and ignited another round of political sparring between the Labour Party and APC. Economists are also weighing in, with some agreeing that data from government sources are inconsistent and lack transparency. Multiple deadly attacks were recorded across Nigeria this month, confirming rising insecurity despite ongoing military operations. In Malam Fatori, Boko Haram killed at least 9 people in an ambush. In Plateau State, over 70 vigilantes were reportedly killed in a single attack, and in Zamfara, dozens were abducted by bandits. Security forces also claim to have neutralized 30 armed militants in Katsina in response to coordinated assaults. This incident have renewed fears about the government's ability to manage the escalating violence, especially in the North and Middle Belt regions. Citizens are increasingly calling for state policing and decentralization of security apparatus. President Bola Tinubu's silence on the most recent attacks has drawn criticisms, with civil society groups demanding a clear and actionable security plan moving forward. On July 4th, an Abuja High Court declared Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan's suspension from the Senate unconstitutional and ordered her reinstatement. The suspension stemmed from accusation of harassment against Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Her return to the National Assembly has been met with mixed reactions, and her colleagues reportedly resisted implementing the court ruling. Akpoti's case has stirred national debate on legislative overreach and gender discrimination in politics. Many women's rights groups have rallied behind her, describing her ordeal as a symbol of systemic silencing of women in power. The Senate's hesitation to honor a court judgment further raises concerns about separation of powers and judicial respect in Nigeria's democracy. In a tragic event this week, at least 25 passengers drowned after a commercial boat capsized in Niger State en route to a market. Authorities say the vessel was overloaded and search and rescue efforts were delayed due to insecurity in the area. Bandit activities reportedly hindered immediate intervention, further compounding the death toll. This disaster underscores the poor state of rural transportation infrastructure in Nigeria and the deadly consequences of government inactions. It also reignited the conversation around insecurity in inland regions where poor communities face double jeopardy, both from unsafe travel and armed groups. Critics are demanding not only better infrastructure but also stronger governance in vulnerable rural zones. The Nigerian House of Representatives have launched a full-scale investigation into the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited over its alleged failure to remit a staggering 8.48 trillion naira in oil revenue and $2 billion in taxes. According to the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission, the total unremitted and mismanaged funds may exceed 210 trillion naira, including underreported sales and unauthorized deductions. Lawmakers described the scale of the alleged financial impropriety as mind-blowing and accused NNPCL of operating like a private entity despite being fully owned by the state. This scandal has reignited long-standing concerns about Nigeria's opaque oil sector and the lack of accountability in its biggest revenue-generating institution. Critics have pointed fingers at the Tinubu administration for failing to check the excesses of the NNPCL. Despite its rebranding under the Petroleum Industry Act, civil society groups have called for criminal prosecutions and forensic audits, while international observers worry that such mismanagement could deter foreign investment and worsen Nigeria's debt crisis, with oil accounting for over 80% of Nigeria's export revenue. This probe could have seismic implications for the economic and 2027 political alignments.